So, for those of you that have been watching my videos recently, we've talked about the escrow unlocks and how that could potentially be sold to big institutional investors. We've also talked about the fact that ETFs are delayed, but that they could see a significant amount of capital flowing in once they launch. Now, we all know the crypto market has taken a dump over the last 24 to 48 hours, but there are some good news out there. I want to talk about what's going on with David Schwartz, how he is talking about Ripple, and more importantly, a fantastic article that should give the institutions and big money in Wall Street an even bigger reason to look at XRP. And are we about to see the 2021 playbook come to 2025? Hit the like button and don't forget, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest in the cryptocurrency market. Remember, this is the most important and biggest decision time we are going to make this bull market cycle, and we don't want to get it wrong. So, as always, thanks for watching, hit the like, and let's get into it. So, let's talk about the recent post David Schwartz put out on X, talking specifically about XRP, and then let's digest it a little bit. Then we're going to get into a very bullish article that came out from none other than Forbes, where it talks about a undervalued XRP token and a Ripple company. Much more on that in just a minute. So David Schwartz came out a couple of days ago saying this: do you want to use a blockchain where people can be their own bank and no middleman, tax their transactions, or do you want to be someone else's bank and tax their transactions? If you want the latter, there are dozens of blockchains for you. If you want the former, that's XRP. I do think XRP's special place on XRPL ensures that XRP will capture some of the value that XRPL transactions generate. XRP is the only asset without a counterparty that can be accessed by every account in every jurisdiction with no risk of default, freeze, or clawback. Pretty bullish indeed. Now remember, this is on the back of that potential institutional buying of the escrow unlocks that we talked about yesterday. Go check that video out. It's definitely worth your time. But basically, this isn't about replacing the banks. This is about removing them from the equation. Now, we all know, as much as we want cryptocurrency to take over the world and basically the new financial markets and financial transactions be done with XRP, Bitcoin, whatever altcoin you decide, we're still not going to get rid of the banks. We could certainly go somewhere into making them better, but this is where I think XRP could just become the currency of finance. And I think that's important to reference. And I think that's exactly what David Schwartz is saying it. Now, you can think of two possible scenarios as to why that is. Maybe David Schwartz is out there and he just thinks this is how we're going to work out, or things are happening that we at the moment are not privy to. Think about it. Escrow unlocks institutional buying. NFTs are going to XRPL that can facilitate multi-transactions on big financial products. And now he talks about this. Very, very interesting. Now, at the same time, we got a very bullish article that came out from Forbes. And this was specifically talking about Ripple's $180 billion reinvention. I want to break down a couple of key things for you. So it talks obviously about the old SEC case. I'm sure many of you are aware of it, but a couple of articles, a couple of points I want to bring out. It says here, Ripple has been on the tear. In private markets, the company's shares now trade between $135 and $170. That's roughly 2 to 3 times higher than at the start of the year. This puts a valuation on the company of anything between $22 and $30 billion. For context, by the way, that's nearly on a par with Circle, the stablecoin issuer. That's a pretty big deal. Now, we also know Ripple wants to compete with and tried to acquire before an IPO in June. Sits around $34 billion. So remember, Ripple tried to buy Circle. What an absolute acquisition that would have been. However, they went and bought Hidden Road, Metaco, Rail, many others, which I think is important. But it goes through a whole load of stuff, and in fact talks all about XRP Ledger and the fact that, well, this is going to be about usage, developer activity, and more importantly, the fact that Ripple, the company, is a very different beast than what it was a year ago. We know integration into the financial market, regulation, the fact that they need to deliver on all sorts of restrictions and everything else, very different indeed. Austin King, the CEO of crypto trading firm Nomia, he also sold his first company in Ripple to 2019, says a lot of people in crypto chirp Ripple, but the reality is they had incredible foresight. The technology has been there for a decade. Now their bet, I think, is to find synergies across all the different businesses, bundling them up into one conglomerate for financial services. And that is exactly what Ripple is trying to do. It is a one-stop shop for institutions, and I'm sure at some point maybe retail, to transact, move money, and basically start to build the new financial system. Bullish indeed. Now, when we talk a little bit nearer to home, what's going on with charts? Why is the price where it is? We know the market's sold off, but RSI climbed steadily to the 50 neutral line, reflecting renewed buying strength, and actually XRP holding up better than most in the market. MACD turning positive. This is the 2017 playbook and the 2021 playbook, all playing out once again here in 2025. If we go to 2026 as a bull market cycle top, expect Ripple to move. Key things to think about. The pattern now suggesting that we could see 365 very, very soon, with a potential price target of none other than $8 to $10. It's like I've been talking about this all along. And you kind of get into a world of saying, well, how do we get there? Is this just going to be driven through FOMO, retail hype? What? Well, Uphold has just relaunched its US debit card after a 2-year absence. Guess what? It's offering 10% on XRP rewards, 6% on spending, plus 4% for direct deposit users as well. That's at the same time Gemini have launched a credit card. Again, we all talked about that here on the channel. So what have you got when we unpack this? You've got the CTO, soon to be former CTO, talking about institutions being able to buy XRP from the Escrow, something I have been discussing for ages. The Escrow is there to facilitate partnerships, facilitate business transactions. It isn't a way of dumping on the community. You've also got him talking about how they're going to use XRP as basically the currency to take the banks out of the equation. While at the same time, you've got more and more people offering rewards in XRP. And like we said, the 2021 playbook coming to 2025. Bullish yet? Well, for me, I am. And what I want to see is the market start to move. Fingers crossed we start to see a bit more of a push up in Bitcoin. Markets start to just digest the Fed, and that could signal a rally over the course of the next few weeks. Is November going to be bullish or not? Let me know what you think of all of this in the comments down below. As always, I'm not at home at the minute, but I wanted to get these videos out to you. So make sure you give us a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. And as always, don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow with more XRP content as well as the rest of the crypto market. Don't go anywhere. It's all going to be bullish. See you soon.